Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, where I try and find the silver linings in even the worst of films. Forgive me if this video looks a little weird today. I'm trying out this new 18mm autofocus cinematography lens from Viltrox that I actually just got from my cinematography career and testing it here. While I was at work, DC decided to drop the newest trailer for CLAYFACE. And I don't know if you guys know this, I don't really hide it that well, but I'm actually a very big Batman fan. He is my favorite superhero of all time, so I have been very, very, very excited to see what DC is cooking up with the first Batman-esque character inside James Gunn's new DC universe. So without further ado, let's get into it. Jeez, you could just see the sadness in his eyes. You can already feel the tension and the horror in this. It looks very Matt Reevesy. Apparently it takes place in James Gunn's universe. Oh! Is that our first look at the Joker? Oh. Okay guys, that was literally everything I wanted it to be and more. In a world where we have so many crybabies, oh, the superhero fatigue. All these movies are so samey. All these movies feel very similar to... This is exactly what you have to do to differentiate yourselves from everywhere else. James Gunn said when he was taking on the role of head of DC that there's no such thing as superhero fatigue. There's mediocrity fatigue. People are getting sick of seeing superhero films that feel tonally similar to many other superhero films, and if you're gonna stand out and rise above and rise like a phoenix from the ashes, you have to do things that are different and stand out, be edgy, and this looks horrifying. I mean, first of all, Mike Flanagan, who did The Haunting of Bly Manor, The Haunting of Hill House, Dr. Sleep, Fall of the House of Usher, is the one that wrote this. I'm not too sure who's directing it, but he wrote it, and he's like the king of writing horror stuff right now, at least Stephen King horror stuff, but he's done his own stuff too. Midnight Mass was remarkable, and this looks really effing good, and it looks different, and it looks horrific. I love the duality of the fact that this guy is so used to being this handsome actor, and now he's dealing with this horrible body dysmorphia where his skin is literally melting off his body. Like, that's horrifying. This is going to be a horror film that is a hard R rating that is going to feel drastically different than James Gunn's Superman and James Gunn's Supergirl. And I think that's really smart to keep it feeling fresh so that you can go from something lighthearted and family-friendly like a Superman and into a movie like this, like CLAYFACE, a hard R rating of a movie. It feels so far detached from James Gunn's universe that how do you tie that in? How do you introduce a Batman in this film in this really dark take and then have him go over to the fantasticalness of a Superman universe? It doesn't look like this city would exist in a world where James Gunn's Superman exists. And some people think that this is a Matt Reeves extension. I don't believe that because I believe Matt Reeves really wants to ground his Batman in reality, kind of like Christopher Nolan did. I do believe that this does take place in James Gunn's Gotham City, but I wasn't expecting it to look this bleak, this brutal, this violent, this horrific, and I'm really impressed. I think this looks fantastic. I am definitely more excited to see this than I am Supergirl. That's not to say I'm not excited for Supergirl, but I just love when people take a big swing like this. This is risky. They have the budget to back the marketing from this from Warner Brothers and DC Studios, so I'm sure it's going to be marketed really well. I'm curious who's going to go and see it because James Gunn's Superman was a very family-friendly film, and this does not look like it's going to be that, but I'm also willing to bet that Batman is going to show up in this, and I've said this before in a lot of my other videos, and people always push back on it, like, oh, why would they introduce Batman in a CLAYFACE film? They're not going to waste the introduction of Batman in a B-level villain movie that nobody's going to go to see. First of all, why would they not? That's just going to market the shit out of this movie if you find out that Batman's going to make an appearance, and not for nothing, who else is going to stop CLAYFACE? Like, really, if you take a second to think about it, Cop's going to shoot him? No, he's made out of clay. Is Gordon going to stop him? No. The only person that can stop him, well, I mean, other people can stop him outside of Batman, but I don't think we're gonna get like an introduction to the Flash in a Clayface movie. I think this movie's gonna play its course. For those of you who don't know, Clayface, an aspiring actor who goes through this horrible tragedy due to the mob or whoever hurts him. He goes on a killing rampage, killing all the people that did this to him, and then he kind of loses control of himself and he loses himself as a person, and Batman comes in to stop him and save the day and to save Gotham. How else are you gonna stop him in this movie if not for introducing Batman? And I think that'll drive value of people wanting to go and see this movie through the roof to see the introduction of who Batman is. And maybe we won't get Batman, but at least, if nothing else, the bare minimum, Bruce Wayne. Personally, I want it to be the guy from 1883, Brandon Sklenar. I felt like that show was literally his job application to apply for the role of Batman, because he's pretty much playing Bruce Wayne in that, but only time will tell. I think this looks fantastic, and I can't wait to see it when it hits theaters in October. But what say you guys? Did this trailer sway your opinion on whether or not you want to see it? Do you think it looks different enough that gets you excited to jump back into the world of superhero films if you have tapped out of them? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. And as always, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time.